Here's Asia Wilson knocking down her first look.
You won't believe what just happened in the WNBA. The Indiana Fever got crushed by the Aces 88-69, and Caitlin Clark, she shot 1 for 10 from 3. That's right, the rookie superstar couldn't buy a bucket. But that's not even the craziest part. There was this foul between Clark and Jackie Young that had fans losing their minds. Was it a flagrant? Was it nothing? Let's break down this wild game. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Get this. 20,366 fans showed up. That's the biggest WNBA crowd since 1999. But they didn't get the show they were hoping for. The Fever just fell apart. It was like watching a car crash in slow motion.
This play second fastest, Indiana third fastest, and Lexi Hull, the league's top. Wilson's finding some space from the mid-range and connecting. 3 for 3 from the mid-range.
You couldn't look away, but man, it was painful to see. Clark, the rookie superstar, she couldn't find her rhythm. 1 for 10 from 3. That's rough. But you know what's even crazier? This foul between Clark and Jackie Young, it had fans going nuts. Some were screaming for a flagrant, others said it was nothing. The debate got so heated, you'd think they were arguing about pineapple on pizza. While fans were busy arguing about that foul, they might have missed something even bigger. Clark's all-star nod is now under fire. Why are some saying she doesn't deserve it? And what's really behind her recent slump? Let's talk about Clark's performance. 16 points, 6 assists, 5 turnovers. That's not the Clark we're used to seeing. And it's not just this game. Over her last 3 games, Clark shot only 12 for 35. That's rough. But why is this happening? Some fans are saying Clark's not being aggressive enough. They want her to take control to stop being so passive. One fan even said, Caitlin Clark has to start being a lot more selfish. Clark has to realize that her shooting a contested shot is more productive than her teammate shooting an uncontested shot. That's a bold take, but it shows how frustrated some fans are getting. But it's not just Clark under the microscope. Coach Christy Sides is catching heat too. Fans are questioning her game strategy.
And now, Clark lob it up. Kelsey Mitchell wide open and knocks down a triple. Wilson, mid-range, where she's 2 for 2. Kelsey Mitchell has to be...
Especially how she's using Clark in clutch situations. It's like everyone's got an opinion on how to fix the Fever's star rookie. Here's the thing. Clark's still learning. She's trying to figure out the WNBA's style of play, and it's not easy. One fan put it perfectly. The pressure on Caitlin Clark looks like she out here swimming with sharks. That's the WNBA for you. It's intense, it's competitive, and there's no time to catch your breath. But let's break down what's really going on with Clark's game. She's settling for long three-pointers instead of driving to the basket. And when she does drive, she's actually pretty successful. It's like she's got all the tools, but she's still figuring out when to use which one. Now, some people might say, hey, she's a rookie, cut her some slack. And they're right. Clark is still adapting to the league. But here's the catch. In the WNBA, you don't get much time to figure it out. The pressure's on, and it's only going to get more intense. So, what's next for Clark? Can she turn this around? Or is this just a glimpse of the growing pains every rookie faces in the WNBA? Just when you thought Clark's game was the hottest topic, the WNBA served up even more drama. A split-second decision on the court has fans at each other's throats. But here's the million-dollar question. Is this foul really the game changer everyone thinks it is? Or are we all missing the bigger picture? Let's break down what happened. Clark goes for a layup, and boom, there's contact with Jackie Young's face. The refs review it, and guess what? No flagrant foul. That's when WNBA Twitter exploded. You've got fans on both sides going crazy. Some are saying it's dirty play, others are defending it as just hard basketball.
For the Aces this year, as Clark got around Stokes, gets to the rim, lays it in, and a foul.
It's like everyone suddenly became a referee overnight. The debate got so heated, you'd think they were arguing about the last slice of pizza at a party. But here's the thing. While everyone's busy arguing about this foul, they might be missing the real story. Sure, the foul was controversial, but did it really change the game? Or was it just a distraction from the Fever's bigger problems? Let's look at the numbers. The Fever shot 39.7% from the field. That's rough. And from the free throw line, 62.5%. That's leaving a lot of points on the table. When you're playing against a team like the Aces, you can't afford to miss those opportunities. So, while fans are going to war over this call, the real issue might be flying under the radar. The Fever's offense just couldn't get it together. It's like they were trying to solve a Rubik's Cube with mittens on. Frustrating and not very effective. But here's where it gets interesting. This foul debate, it's not just about one play. It's showing us something bigger about the Fever. They're struggling to maintain offensive consistency. It's like they've got all the ingredients for a great meal, but they can't figure out the recipe. And let's not forget about the pressure. With 20,366 fans watching, the biggest WNBA crowd since 1999, the stakes were high. That's a lot of eyes on you when things aren't clicking. So, what does all this mean for the Fever? Well, it's clear they've got some work to do. They need to focus on their shooting, their consistency, and their overall game strategy, because at the end of the day, one controversial foul isn't going to make or break your season, but not being able to put the ball in the basket, that'll do it every time. While everyone was fixated on Clark's struggles, Aja Wilson was quietly having a monster game, and it might be the key to understanding the Fever's biggest problem. You know what's wild? Wilson dropped 27 points, grabbed 12 rebounds, and swatted 3 shots. She was an absolute force on the court. The Fever? They had no answer for her. It was like watching a pro play against amateurs. But here's the thing. Wilson's dominance exposed a huge weakness in the Fever's game plan. Their bench depth is paper thin. The starters were out there trying to do it all, but against a team like the Aces, that's just not gonna cut it. Fans are starting to notice too. They're calling for a stronger sixth player, someone who can come off the bench and make an impact. Because right now, it's like the Fever are trying to win a marathon with no water stations. They're running out of gas before the finish line. And let's talk about those playoff chances. With performances like this, the Fever's postseason dreams are looking shakier than a house of cards in a windstorm. They're struggling to secure wins against top teams, and that's a big red flag. But hold up, it's not all doom and gloom. The Fever have talent. They've got potential. It's just, they're still figuring out how to use it. It's like they've got all the ingredients for a gourmet meal, but they're still learning how to cook. This game against the Aces, it was a wake-up call. It showed the Fever exactly what they need to do if they want to compete with the best. They need to work on their consistency, their bench depth, and their overall game strategy. And you know what's crazy? This loss might actually be a good thing in the long run. Sometimes you need to hit rock bottom before you can climb back up. The question is, can the Fever use this as motivation to turn things around? So, what's next for Clark and the Fever? Let's be real. Clark's been struggling, and the team's taking some big hits. But don't panic just yet. This is all part of the rookie experience. Clark's got all-star potential, no doubt, but she's still figuring things out. As she said herself, the biggest thing for me is, when I get in there, I still get a little indecisive. That's where those turnovers are coming from. She's averaging over 5 per game. That's rough. But here's the thing. Clark's learning. She's adapting to the WNBA style. It's like she's swimming with sharks, and she's still getting used to the water. The question is, can she turn things around? Can she help the Fever make a playoff push? Or is this season just a learning experience for next year?